There's a lot of them that I could talk about, but I guess Ajahn Vichai at Bangla Hospital was one of the top ones for sure. He was the younger brother of Dr. Sompan, and he came out, I think, just to live with her and her family. And the hospital, I think they hired him kind of as an assistant to the chaplain, and who happened to be me at the time. But he was just his whole family really. He's very dedicated. His brother is we knit, who's pastor at Emmanuel Baptist Church, and Dr. Sompan, after she left the hospital, went to Sriracha, and I think she started a church down there. And her mother, his mother and dad were both very zealous witnesses during their lifetime. And he has at least one sister in the States, but the 1 year that I served as business manager, she was one of the secretaries in my office there and was a tremendous help, just a wonderful Christian. And Vichai has just been faithful through the years. I guess we started working together, had to be probably in the late 70s, and he has just very recently retired, so he's got quite a bit of age on him. And he still works with the pastors there in East Thailand and works in some of the different churches and groups. I know for a fact some years back, not a while before we retired, he had invitations from a Thai friend in the States that this fellow said, I know of several Thai congregations here would love to have you come and be their pastor. And he wrote back and said that I believe my place is here with my country and with my own people, and that there's such a shortage of workers here that I know that God wants me to stay here and work. Enjoyed his company and helped with the teaching and had several meals in our home. We enjoyed, and his wife was she's a daughter of the pastor at Ayutthaya, Ajahn Som Kid. And they have two sons. I know one of them is a very active Christian there in one of the local communities close to Bangladesh. He's also, according to Jack Kinnison, he's director of a nationwide TV show. It's a kind of a musical quiz show. I got a good answer from him the other day on Facebook. I had a picture of him playing the guitar, and I said, you play the guitar just real well like your dad. And he sent me back a heart, you know. And he called me Grandpa, actually, which surprised me. Well, I knew the boys, you know, when they were smaller, but, I mean, we've been away, you know, for 24 years now. I've kept in touch with Vichai by mail before we got our iPad that our son and daughter-in-law gave us. In fact, son, on that picture, you know, of me preaching, you standing there watching me, he's put a comment. He said, I was there that day. Now, I don't know if he got mixed up on when that day was. He might, you know, because I didn't know him at that time, and it was quite a few years after that, because that was way back there in 1960, 61. He might have been visiting. I have no idea, but he said, I was there that day. So that really got me to thinking. I don't know how that happened, but he could have been. We had several, of course, wonderful fellow Christians there in the Chacheng Sao Church, but one who was very, very helpful and always ready to do things with me was Kun Julian, who was he was almost my age, but he seemed younger. A big, stout Chinese man. He had several children, but he played the accordion, And he went with me to Bangkinoy almost every trip, I guess. And that was for several years. And he went out with me to show movies in different places in the countryside around there. He made ice cream at home and sold ice cream from his bicycle cart. That was their way of making a living. At one time, when we didn't have a pastor at our church, he became the director of the choir. And this was in the middle of the year, and he called the choir together and said they were going to get ready for Christmas. Now this was in June, and they started working on "Oh Holy Night," one of the hardest carols of all. But he played the organ at the church also, and Maxine played it some, and he played it some. But he was just a wonderful friend. And I'm glad that Bob got to see him before he passed on, because was he conscious, son, at that time? Okay, that's wonderful.